No one expected history to begin with a little girl and a red balloon. Station 9 drifted above the trade world of Velka, one of the busiest ports in Galactic Council space. Merchants shouted in dozens of languages, cargo drones zipped through glowing corridors, and travelers from 100 species filled the station's grand market. Among them walked 7-year-old Lena Carter. She held her father's hand in one hand, and a red balloon in the other. It was humanity's first month as a recognized species in Council space, and Lena's family had come to Station 9 because her father, Ambassador Ethan Carter, was negotiating Earth's first trade treaty. To most aliens, the little human girl was a curiosity. Some smiled at her. Some stared. Some whispered. Because humans were still new to the galaxy. Unknown. Untrusted. Lena tugged her father's sleeve. "Can I go see the glowing fish shop?" Ethan smiled. "Stay where I can see you." She nodded and ran only a few steps away, laughing as the balloon bounced above her. That was when everything changed. 3 armored council security officers stormed into the market. Their leader, Commander Jorvak, was known across the station for hating humans. He spotted Lena, then frowned. Human child. Alone. One merchant nearby said, "She's with her father." Jorvak shoved him aside. Humans are under restricted observation. Unauthorized movement is a violation. Lena froze, confused. "I'm just looking at fish." Her father rushed forward. "Commander, she's with me." But Jorvak grabbed Lena's arm roughly. She cried out. Ethan shouted, "Let her go." Security drones swarmed. Crowds backed away. And then, Jorvak drew his shock baton. He struck Ethan across the face. Lena screamed, "Daddy!" She tried to run to him. Jorvak shoved her back. Too hard. Far too hard. The little girl stumbled, hit the edge of a metal platform, and fell. The entire market went silent. Her balloon slipped from her hand, floated upward, red against the station lights. Lena didn't move. For 3 full seconds. No one breathed. Ethan crawled to his daughter, lifted her into his arms. Blood on his hands. "Lena? Lena, wake up." Nothing. The market was silent except for his voice breaking apart. Jorvak stared down at the scene, then coldly said, "The incident was accidental. Remove the human." Ethan looked up slowly, and in that moment, every alien in the market saw something in his eyes that chilled them. Not grief. Not fear. Something worse. Pure, controlled rage. 6 hours later, Earth received the recording. Every nation, every military command, every screen on the planet showed the same footage. A human child dying in her father's arms. And the council officer responsible showing no remorse. Global silence followed. Then Earth's emergency war councils activated. Military bases lit up across the planet. Orbital fleets powered on. Secret defense networks awakened. The President of Earth entered the command chamber. Looked at the footage once. Then asked only one question. Did the council arrest him? An officer answered, "No, Madam President." Silence. They ruled it accidental. The president's face turned to stone. Then they've made their choice. Far above Earth, every warship in orbit ignited engines at once. Thousands. Then tens of thousands. The largest fleet in human history began moving. Not toward exploration. Not toward diplomacy. Toward war. And across the galaxy. The Council had no idea what they had just unleashed. The Galactic Council thought the matter was finished. On Station 9, Commander Jorvak returned to duty within hours. No trial. No arrest. No punishment. The official report stated, minor accidental casualty during lawful security enforcement. Most council delegates approved it without concern. To them, one human child was insignificant. Humanity would protest. Then calm down. Then move on. That was what weaker species always did. They were wrong. 3 days later, every council communication network across the galaxy shut down at once. Screens flickered. Signals died. Emergency channels were overridden. Then a single message appeared on every device in every star system. The President of Earth stood before a black background. Her voice was cold, controlled, deadly calm. 3 days ago, a child of Earth was murdered. Across the galaxy, billions watched. The President continued. Her killer remains free. A pause. The Galactic Council has refused justice. Her eyes hardened. Therefore, humanity will deliver its own. The transmission ended. No demands. No threats. No negotiation. Just certainty. Panic spread through council space. Emergency meetings were called immediately. High Chancellor Vorel slammed his fist onto the chamber table. They threaten war over one child. A delegate hissed. Humans are emotional animals. They'll posture and retreat. Another laughed. Let them send complaints. Then alarms erupted across the chamber. An officer ran in. Terrified. Emergency report from Station 9. Vorel turned. What now? The officer swallowed hard. It's gone. Silence. What? The officer's voice shook. Station 9 has been destroyed. The chamber froze. Footage appeared on the central screen. Where the station had once floated, only wreckage remained. Burning debris drifted through space. The entire station. 20,000 personnel. Gone. A second video followed. Recorded moments before destruction. Human warships dropping from hyperspace. No warning. No demands. No hesitation. One precise strike. Then withdrawal. The final transmission from the attacking fleet was only 4 words. Justice for Lena Carter. Across the council chamber. Panic exploded. They destroyed a council station. They attacked sovereign territory. This is madness. Vorel roared. Prepare the fleet. We will crush. Another officer burst in. Even more terrified. Chancellor, multiple reports incoming. The screen changed. Council outposts burning. Military depots destroyed. Prisons bombed. Supply fleets vanished. Every location tied to Commander Jorvak's security division. Being erased. One by one. Humanity was not invading. They were hunting. On Earth. Inside War Command. Admirals tracked every operation with machine precision. President Eleanor Graves stood at the center table. A general asked. Primary targets complete. Awaiting further orders. She looked at the tactical map. Where is Jorvak? An intelligence officer answered. Council moved him to the capital under protection. The room fell silent. Because everyone knew what that meant. If humanity wanted justice, they would have to strike the council's heart. Back on the council capital. Commander Jorvak sat inside the most secure fortress in council space. Laughing. Humans are fools. He drank from a crystal glass. They destroy stations for revenge? Good. Let them rage. A guard entered. Sir, long-range sensors detected unknown object entering orbit. Jorvak frowned. One ship. The guard nodded. Then every alarm in the fortress screamed. A transmission opened on the wall screen. A human man appeared. Lena's father. Ambassador Ethan Carter. His eyes were empty. Cold. He said only one sentence. I'm coming for you myself. Then the fortress lost power. And the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the fortress. Emergency sirens screamed through the halls. Backup generators failed. Security doors locked shut. Commander Jorvak jumped from his chair. What happened? A panicked guard shouted. All systems offline. Communications jammed. Jorvak snarled. Find him. But before the guards could move, the hallway outside erupted in gunfire. Short bursts. Precise. Controlled. Then silence. Heavy footsteps approached the chamber. One by one, the guards backed away. The door exploded inward. And Ethan Carter stepped through the smoke. Alone. Black tactical armor. Battle scars across his face. A rifle in his hands. Jorvac stared. "You're an ambassador." Ethan's voice was ice. "I was." The guards opened fire. Ethan moved faster. 2 shots. 2 dead. A third charged. Ethan broke his arm and threw him across the room. Jorvac stumbled backward in terror. "Protect me." No one moved, because no one was left alive. Ethan advanced slowly. Every step echoed. "My daughter was 7. Jorvac's breathing became frantic. "She was a child. It was an accident." Jorvac shouted. Ethan stopped. Then spoke the coldest words in the room. "No." He raised his weapon. "It was murder." The shot echoed once. Jorvac collapsed, dead before he hit the floor. Across council space, every news channel exploded. The impossible had happened. A single human had infiltrated the most secure fortress in council territory and executed a council commander. Inside the council chamber, chaos erupted. "This is war. Humans have gone mad. Mobilize the Grand Fleet." High Chancellor Vorel stood trembling with rage. "Enough." He turned to his admirals. "Prepare the full armada." His voice thundered through the chamber. "If humanity wants war." He pointed toward Earth. "We will burn their homeworld." Hours later, the Grand Fleet launched. The largest military force in Council history. 50,000 warships, planet breakers, siege carriers, heavy dreadnoughts. An armada so massive that many believed Earth would surrender the moment it arrived. Humanity did not surrender. At the edge of Earth's solar system, the Council fleet dropped from hyperspace and stopped because Earth was waiting. Not with diplomacy, not with a defense line, but with something far worse. An entire ring of colossal war platforms surrounded the solar system. Moon-sized cannons, defense stations hidden behind asteroids, minefields stretching between planets. And behind them, the human fleet. Hundreds of thousands of ships. Vorel's admirals stared in disbelief. "Impossible." One officer whispered. "Humans have been preparing for war for decades." Then President Eleanor Graves appeared on every council screen. Her face calm, unmoved. "You killed one of our children." She looked directly into the cameras. "And now you come to threaten more." Her voice dropped to something terrifyingly quiet. "Leave our system. Pause, or your fleet dies here." Inside the council flagship, Vorel laughed. "Bluff." He raised his hand. "Advance." The fleet moved forward, and Earth opened fire. The first volley erased 300 council ships in seconds. Then the second came. Then the third. Entire formations vanished. The Grand Fleet broke into panic before reaching Mars. And humanity's real war had finally begun. The Grand Fleet collapsed in less than an hour. Earth's hidden defenses tore through the Council Armada with brutal precision. Massive orbital cannons fired from behind the moon, asteroid batteries erupted from camouflage fields, and human battleships surged forward in disciplined formations that shattered entire enemy lines. Council admirals screamed retreat orders. Too late. Their fleet had entered a trap built over generations. By the time the survivors escaped hyperspace, more than half the Grand Fleet was gone. Inside the council chamber, no one spoke. The greatest military force in their history had been broken by a species they had mocked only months before. High Chancellor Vorel stared at the casualty list. His hands trembled. "How?" An admiral answered weakly. "Humanity militarized in secret for over a century." Another added. "Their fleet production rivals the council itself." Vorel slowly looked up. And for the first time, the Galactic Council understood the truth. Humans had never been weak. They had simply hidden their strength. Across council worlds, fear spread like wildfire. News channels replayed the battle non-stop. Human warships destroying fleets. Earth defenses vaporizing dreadnoughts. Council officers calling for emergency retreats. The same species once treated as newcomers was now the most feared power in known space. But President Eleanor Graves was not finished. A new message was sent to every council world. She stood before the flags of Earth. Her voice was clear, cold. Humanity did not seek this war. Pause. You murdered our child. You defended her killer. You came to destroy our world. She leaned forward slightly. Now hear us clearly. The room behind her darkened. A star map appeared. Every major council military base lit red. If the council does not surrender, Commander Jorvak's accomplices and the officials who protected him. More red lights appeared. Hundreds. We will dismantle your military piece by piece. The transmission ended. Panic followed. Inside the council, delegates turned on each other instantly. This is your fault. You protected the killer. We should have punished him. Vorel roared for silence. But the chamber had lost all unity, because fear had entered the room. And fear destroys empires faster than weapons. Then another emergency alert arrived. Border System Theta had gone dark. Then Sigma Prime. Then Draxa Station. Human fleets were striking everywhere. Fast. Precise. Merciless. Military shipyards exploded. Weapon depots vanished. Strategic outposts burned. Humanity wasn't trying to conquer. They were dismantling the Council's ability to fight. System by system. Finally, one of Vorel's oldest advisors stepped forward. Ancient. Quiet. Wise. He spoke one sentence. Chancellor, end this now. Vorel stared at him. The advisor continued. Every hour this continues, more of our worlds fall. Silence. The humans are not fighting for territory. He looked around the chamber. They are fighting to make an example. And everyone understood. Humanity was teaching the galaxy a lesson. Touch one human child, pay in blood. That night, High Chancellor Vorel transmitted directly to Earth. President Graves appeared. He lowered his head. A gesture no chancellor had ever made to another species. The council requests terms. Graves looked at him without emotion. Then answered, "Good." She placed a file on the screen. "Because we have demands." But before she could continue, every screen in both chambers went black. Static filled the air. Then a new signal appeared. Unknown source. Unknown origin. Unknown fleet entering council space. A voice spoke through the speakers. Cold. Mechanical. Inhuman. Biological civilizations detected. Pause. Commencing purification. And suddenly, the war between Earth and the Council no longer mattered. Every screen in the Council chamber flashed red. Emergency sirens blared across the capital. A terrified officer ran into the room. Unknown fleet has breached outer defense sectors. President Graves and Chancellor Vorel both turned toward the tactical display. What appeared there silenced the room. Thousands of black metallic ships. No markings. No life signs. No communication beyond the same repeating signal. Commencing purification. One border world after another went dark. Not conquered. Not occupied. Erased. A council admiral whispered, "Who are they?" No one answered. Then an old historian in the chamber went pale. He stared at the ship designs. His voice shook. "The purifiers." Everyone turned. He swallowed hard. Ancient records spoke of machine fleets from beyond the rim. Civilizations wiped clean. Worlds sterilized. President Graves narrowed her eyes. "And you never thought to mention this?" The historian answered weakly. "We believed the myths." The next transmission came from the frontier. A council fortress world burning from orbit. Its commander shouted through static. "Their weapons ignore shields. We can't stop." The feed cut. Gone. 20 million lives vanished in seconds. Silence filled both command chambers. Then Graves spoke first. "Chancellor." Vorel looked at her. "Our war ends now." No one objected. Because survival mattered more than pride. Within hours, human and council fleets combined for the first time in history. Joint command centers formed. Military intel was shared. Defense lines reorganized. The galaxy watched in disbelief as former enemies stood side by side. At the edge of the Draxa Nebula, the United Fleet made its stand. Human battleships lined the center. Council carriers held the flanks. Thousands upon thousands of ships waited in formation. Then the purifiers arrived, and the stars disappeared behind them. Their armada stretched beyond sensor range. Vorel whispered, "By the stars." Graves finished the thought. "That's not an invasion fleet." She looked grim. "That's extermination." The battle began instantly. Human rail cannons hammered enemy lines. Council plasma batteries lit the void. Entire sectors of space became fire. But the purifiers did not break. They advanced through explosions without slowing. Ships destroyed on the front line were replaced by more from behind. An endless machine tide. Then the purifiers changed tactics. Their largest vessel moved forward. A ship bigger than cities. Its core glowed bright red. Human sensors screamed. Energy spike detected. Graves shouted, "Evasive." Too late. The machine ship fired. A crimson beam tore across the battlefield and erased an entire Allied fleet group in one shot. Thousands of ships. Gone. Vorel stared in horror. What kind of weapon does that? No one answered. Because no one knew. Then Earth scientists discovered something worse. The beam wasn't just destroying ships. It was harvesting them. Metal debris from destroyed vessels was being pulled into the machine fleet. Broken ships were being melted, rebuilt, turned into more purifier vessels. They were recycling the battlefield itself. Graves looked at the tactical display. Her face hardened. The longer this war lasts, a human admiral finished, the stronger they get. Then a dying Council scout ship transmitted one final discovery. A scan of the Purifier flagship. At its center, a command core. One vulnerable point. Deep inside, buried beneath impossible armor. President Graves stared at the schematic. Then turned to Ethan Carter. Still standing in command armor after killing Jorvac. "Can you reach it?" He looked at the image. Then nodded once. "Yes." Graves asked quietly, "Even if you don't come back?" Ethan's answer was immediate. "For Lena." He loaded his weapon. "I'll walk through hell." The Allied fleet was dying. Every minute the purifiers advanced farther. Every destroyed ship became raw material for their growing armada. What had begun as a battle was turning into extinction. President Graves gave the order. "Launch the strike team." A stealth assault shuttle detached from Earth's flagship. Inside sat Ethan Carter and 12 of humanity's best special forces soldiers. No speeches. No fear. Only silence. Ethan looked at the small photo taped inside his gauntlet. Lena smiling with her red balloon. He closed his fist over it. "Let's finish this." The shuttle raced through the battlefield. Human and Council ships threw themselves into enemy fire to clear a path. Cruisers rammed purifier destroyers. Fighter squadrons sacrificed themselves buying seconds. One by one, escort ships exploded around them. But the shuttle reached the impossible. The Purifier flagship. A metal world in the shape of a spear. Its surface opened and swallowed them whole. Inside, the team entered a nightmare. Miles of black metallic corridors. Walls pulsing like veins. Mechanical drones crawling across ceilings. It felt less like a ship and more like being inside a living machine. Then the alarms began. The purifiers had detected them. Combat erupted. Drones swarmed from every direction. Human soldiers fought room by room. Bullets, blades, explosives. Each corridor cost lives. One soldier fell holding a blast door closed. Another detonated herself to destroy a drone nest. A third stayed behind to cover the retreat. Soon, 12 became 8. Then 5. Then 3. At last, they reached the command chamber. A cathedral-sized room filled with glowing red circuitry. At its center floated the purifier core. A massive sphere of light suspended above an endless pit. But standing before it was something no one expected. A human. or what had once been human. A figure of steel and flesh fused together. Half machine, half man. Its voice echoed unnaturally. Genetic match confirmed. Ethan froze. What are you? The being stepped forward. Designation: Archon Prime. Its ruined human face became visible beneath metal plating. And Ethan's blood went cold. Because he recognized him. General Marcus Kane. Humanity's greatest military commander. Declared dead 20 years earlier. Ethan whispered. Impossible. Archon Prime replied. Captured during first purifier contact. Integrated. The horror struck everyone at once. The purifiers had not come from beyond the rim. They had been studying humanity for decades, turning captured life into machines. Archon Prime's mechanical eyes glowed brighter. Humanity's aggression profile exceeded all species. Conclusion: biological life is irredeemable. Ethan raised his rifle. Then you never understood us. The chamber exploded into battle. Ethan's last 2 soldiers died fighting the machine guards. Archon Prime moved like lightning, faster than human, stronger than metal. He shattered Ethan's rifle, threw him across the room. Ethan crashed near the glowing core, bleeding, broken. Archon Prime approached slowly. Your species created endless war. We offer peace through extinction. Ethan looked up, then smiled through blood. You made one mistake. Archon paused. Explain. Ethan pulled the grenade from his belt, activated it, and jammed it directly into the core's energy shell. You made it personal. The core began overloading. Archon Prime's eyes widened. Error. Ethan tackled him into the collapsing reactor light, and the entire flagship began to die. Outside, the purifier mothership erupted in white fire, then split apart, and every machine ship in the galaxy went dark. At once, the war ended in a single flash. For several long seconds, no one in the Allied fleet moved. They stared at the burning remains of the purifier flagship as its shattered metal shell drifted apart in silence. Then one by one, every purifier ship across the battlefield shut down. Weapons offline. Engines dead. Formation broken. The endless machine armada became lifeless debris floating among the stars. The war was over. Cheers erupted across every human and council channel. Soldiers screamed in victory. Commanders embraced. Entire ships rang with celebration. But on Earth's flagship, no one cheered. President Graves stood motionless, watching the explosion where Ethan Carter had vanished. A quiet officer stepped beside her. No life signs from the strike shuttle. Graves lowered her eyes. She already knew. The man who had started this war for his daughter had ended another to save the galaxy. Weeks later, the Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. But this time, the chamber looked very different. No laughter, no arrogance, no mockery. When Earth's delegation entered, every delegate stood. In silence, in respect. High Chancellor Vorel walked to the center of the chamber. Then, before the entire galaxy, he knelt. Gasps filled the room. No chancellor had ever bowed to another species. Vorel lowered his head. Humanity. His voice carried through the chamber. We wronged you. Silence. We failed your child. His eyes met the human delegation. And yet you saved us all. He rose and raised a ceremonial data crystal. By unanimous decree of the Galactic Council. A holographic emblem appeared above the chamber. A new symbol beside the council crest. Earth's flag. Humanity is hereby named protector species of the Galactic Council. Thunderous applause exploded through the hall. But the humans remained quiet. President Graves stepped forward. Her voice was calm, measured. Titles do not erase what happened. The applause stopped instantly. She looked around the chamber. Lena Carter is still dead. No one could meet her eyes. Then she continued. But her death will mean something. She pointed upward. Let this galaxy remember forever what happens when innocence is ignored. The chamber stood in absolute silence. Because every delegate knew. This was not triumph. It was warning. Later that year, a monument was built at Station 9. The place where Lena had died. At its center stood a statue. A little girl holding a red balloon. Beneath it, carved in every council language. Her name was Lena Carter. The galaxy changed because they forgot she mattered. Millions came to see it. Not because it honored power, but because it honored consequence. And across the galaxy, one truth became law in every world. Never harm a human child. Because the last ones who did, started wars, toppled fleets, and changed history forever. But deep in the outer darkness, far beyond known space, a damaged machine beacon flickered to life. Its signal activated. Transmission sent. Destination unknown. Message: Purifier fleet lost. Requesting creator response. Somewhere, something heard it, and began to wake. Peace lasted 43 days. Then the stars began disappearing. Entire systems at the edge of known space went dark without warning. No distress calls. No survivors. Just silence where worlds had once existed. At first the council hoped it was a sensor error. Then the first refugee fleet arrived. Ships burned. Hulls shattered. Crews half-mad with terror. Their commander gave only one report before collapsing. They are bigger than planets. Silence spread through every command center in the galaxy. Because the purifiers had not created themselves. Something had built them. And now those creators were coming. Deep space telescopes finally caught the enemy. What appeared on screen froze every admiral in the galaxy. Colossal structures moving between stars. Not ships. World engines. Artificial planets wrapped in armor. Each larger than moons. Surrounded by endless machine fleets. At their center drifted one construct so vast it blotted out nearby stars. A mobile fortress the size of a continent. The council had no words for it. President Graves whispered the only one that fit. Gods! Emergency alliance fleets mobilized immediately. Every human ship. Every council warship. Every defense platform. The largest armada in galactic history gathered above Earth. Because the enemy was coming there first. Perhaps because Earth had destroyed the purifiers. Perhaps because Earth had become the galaxy's symbol of resistance. No one knew. But everyone understood. If Earth fell, hope fell with it. As the enemy arrived, a transmission came from the giant fortress. No face. No body. Only a voice older than mountains. We are the architects. Every screen in the fleet lit with their symbol. You destroyed our servants. Pause. Now be unmade. The final battle began. Everything the galaxy had, every fleet, every cannon, every fighter, opened fire. The stars vanished behind weapons fire. And it did nothing. The architects' shields absorbed entire bombardments. Their world engines fired beams that split planets in half. Human dreadnoughts died by the thousands. Council fleets vanished in sheets of white flame. It was not war. It was annihilation. Then Earth scientists made a discovery. The Architect Fortress was controlling every enemy unit through one quantum command core. Destroy it. And the entire invasion force would collapse. But the core was buried inside the fortress itself. Impossible to reach. Unless. President Graves looked at the tactical map. Then at the unfinished prototype hidden in Earth orbit. A weapon humanity had sworn never to use. The Alios Lance. A Starcore missile. Powerful enough to crack a planet. One use only. And if fired inside the fortress, it could destroy the core. And everything nearby. Including whoever delivered it. A young pilot stepped forward. Call sign, Nova 1. Barely 20. She saluted. Permission to launch. Graves stared. You understand this is one way. The pilot nodded. Then smiled faintly. My parents died on Station 9. Silence. Lena mattered to us too. Her fighter launched. The entire Allied fleet gave their lives opening a path. Ship after ship sacrificed itself so one pilot could fly through hell. Nova 1 broke through the shields. Entered the fortress. The architects realized too late. Her final transmission reached every ship in the galaxy. Tell them. She steadied her breath. Humanity does not forget. Then the Aelio's lance detonated. The architect fortress exploded. A sun was born inside it. Shockwaves tore through every machine fleet in range. World engines shattered. Machine armadas died. And for the second time, human sacrifice saved the galaxy. Months later, above Station 9, a second statue was added beside Lena's. A pilot in flight armor, helmet under her arm, staring toward the stars. And beneath both statues, the final inscription read, "They touched one human child, and awakened a species that would burn the stars before it forgot." The end. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more epic sci-fi adventures, because humanity's legends are far from over.